Welcome to this explainer. Imagine, just for a second, saving literally thousands of dollars, right? Sounds kind of like the start of one of those cheesy late-night infomercials. But what if I told you that you could fundamentally change your whole financial landscape and you don't even have to overhaul your life to do it? You just have to adopt one tiny, incredibly simple habit. Today, we're unpacking some fascinating source material that outlines exactly how this works. We're looking at a concept known as the 24-hour rule. It's this super interesting deep dive into how our brains actually interact with money, and it offers us a really alluring promise, the ability to save thousands of dollars using just a microscopic shift in our daily routine.
And honestly, the absolute best part about all of this? Think about everything you don't have to do. You can pull this off without making a single extra dime, without cutting out your morning coffee, thank goodness, without building some crazy restrictive budget, and without agonizingly tracking every single dollar that leaves your bank account. I mean, doesn't that perfectly validate the overwhelming frustration so many of us feel with traditional personal finance advice? It always feels like punishment, like you're just depriving yourself. But the approach outlined here, it completely flips that entire narrative on its head.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Saving Without a Budget, the Power of Just Waiting. Moving right along to Section 2, Why We Impulse Buy, the Psychology of the Cart.
So, to really get why this strategy works so well, we kind of have to understand the root of the problem first. Like, why do we impulse buy? Well, if you're constantly finding yourself overspending, it's time to officially shift the blame away from your so-called lack of willpower and put it right where it belongs, human psychology. Because the reality is, every single purchase starts with a feeling, not logic, a feeling. When you're staring at something online or browsing in a store, your brain is actually navigating a whole cocktail of emotions: excitement, stress, boredom, happiness, maybe even sadness. You might be buying something to celebrate a win or maybe just to numb a really tough day, but what your brain is absolutely not doing in that split second is engaging in rational financial decision making. You aren't sitting there calculating your monthly overhead, right? You're just reacting emotionally. And the companies selling to us, oh, they understand this dynamic way better than we do.
Because they understand our emotions so perfectly, every single shopping app on your phone is specifically engineered to make buying feel instant and urgent. Just think about the phrases we see everywhere. One click, buy now, limited offer, only two left, sale ends tonight. These apps literally weaponize these exact tactics against us. They're designed to completely corner you into that heightened emotional state, creating this frenetic, high-pressure environment where you genuinely feel like you have to act right now or you're going to miss out entirely. It is a completely manufactured emergency, and it's designed to bypass your logical brain completely.
Which brings us to Section 3, the 24-hour rule, the simplest financial rule.
So, how in the world do we fight back against a system that is literally built from the ground up to manipulate our emotions? Well, we counter all that frenetic digital manipulation by dramatically slowing things down. We introduced a zero-effort, incredibly empowering solution that just cuts right through all that noise. 24. That is the magic number right there. The rule is beautifully, perfectly simple. If you're looking at an item and it is not an absolute, undeniable necessity, like groceries or life-saving medicine, you do not buy it immediately. Period. You simply wait exactly 24 hours. No exceptions. No rationalizing it to yourself. You just enforce a hard 24-hour pause.
Now, a lot of people think a rule like this is just a trick designed to stop you from spending money altogether, like to lock your wallet away in a safe. It really isn't. So the crucial point is, the real purpose here is to separate the emotion from the decision-making process. Because, as the source points out so perfectly, emotion expires. That crazy adrenaline rush you get hovering over the Buy Now button, it actually has a super short shelf life. If you just wait it out, that intense emotional urgency simply dies out on its own.
It's actually kind of comical how a desperate, burning urge can just completely evaporate overnight. Yesterday's, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to buy this right now, transforms so smoothly into today's, you know what, I don't think I even want it anymore. The item itself didn't change, the price didn't change at all. The only thing that changed was your emotional state, which finally settled down enough to let your logical, rational brain take the wheel back. And this easily builds into a highly relatable, repeatable little routine for yourself. Step 1, you add the item to your cart. Boom, you get that little hit of dopamine. Feels good, right? Step 2, you close the app. Just walk away. Step 3, you come back the next day. If you actually practice this, I guarantee you will find yourself looking at your digital cart 24 hours later, genuinely wondering why you ever wanted half of those things in the first place. The most interesting part here isn't even just the math of the money you save, it's the sheer volume of stuff, of purchases that just disappear completely from your life simply because the emotion expired. Let's look at Section 4, the advanced waiting game, scaling the rule.
But what about the bigger stuff, right? Well, once you've really mastered this 24-hour pause for your everyday items, you can actually scale the whole rule up. Because obviously, when it comes to larger sums of money, the stakes are way higher, and you want to ensure that buying with absolute confidence entirely replaces buying with emotion. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to do that by mapping out specific financial thresholds and their corresponding waiting periods. So for a purchase over $100, you wait 72 hours. For a purchase over $500, you wait 1 full week. By enforcing a much longer cooling off period for those big ticket items, you practically guarantee that any lingering shopping high has completely 100% dissipated. You will honestly be amazed at how fundamentally different your financial decisions become when you simply give yourself enough time to make the right one. Which leads us to our final part, Section 5, your new financial future, the compounding effect. Ultimately, saving money isn't about saying no to everything forever and just making your life totally miserable with a bunch of restrictive budgeting advice. Not at all. It's really about the compounding effect of adopting this one incredibly practical habit. Let's be real. One delayed purchase isn't going to make you rich overnight. Skipping one impulsive late-night buy isn't going to suddenly buy you a mansion. But hundreds of delayed purchases stretched out over months and years, now that creates massive compounding ripples. It is a macroscopic behavioral change. What you're doing is systematically plugging all those tiny little leaks in your finances. And over time, that can completely change your entire financial trajectory, leaving you with literally thousands of extra dollars you didn't even realize you were bleeding out. So, we're going to end this explainer with a really provocative question straight from the core of this strategy. I want you to think about your own habits right now. Think about your own digital carts and your own history of those impulsive buys that you definitely regretted later. If you actually implement this zero-effort pause, how many impulse purchases will disappear from your life tomorrow? Give the 24-hour rule a try and just watch the emotion expire. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.